The sun was sinking low over the dusty plains when Liam Carter first saw her standing by the broken-down stagecoach. Her dress torn, her bonnet crooked, and her eyes, those eyes shining like moonlit water even in the fading light. He reined in his horse without thinking, the world narrowing to the girl who looked both frightened and fierce at the same time. Liam had spent years riding across open land, raising cattle, fixing fences, keeping to himself. But something in her gaze hit him harder than a stampede. He felt it deep, like a truth he had always known, but never found. She didn't speak right away as he approached. She just looked at him with those eyes that seemed to hold 1,000 stories. "Ma'am," he said softly, tipping his hat. "Looks like you're in a bit of trouble." She swallowed, brushed dust from her cheek, and said, "The wheel snapped. The driver left me. He said he'd go into town for help, but that was hours ago." Her voice trembled, but she stood tall, like she refused to let fear claim her. Liam slid off his horse. "Well, lucky for you, I came through." She studied him carefully, and for a moment, Liam wondered if she sensed how deeply she had already settled into his heart. "My name's Ella," she finally said. "Ella Whitmore, Liam Carter," he replied, holding her gaze a second too long. "Let's get you out of here." He lifted her gently onto his horse and rode toward his ranch, feeling every breath she took as she sat behind him. The wind tugged strands of her hair across his neck, sending shivers through him he wasn't used to feeling. Liam had never believed in love at first sight till that moment. At the ranch, Ella gasped at the wide fields, golden grass, and horses running freely. "It's beautiful," she whispered. "It's home," he said. But the moment felt like an invitation he didn't fully understand. He helped her down, noticing again how delicate her hands were, how her eyes sparkled even in exhaustion. She looked around with wonder before turning to him. "Thank you for helping me. I wasn't sure I'd make it out before nightfall." Liam smiled quietly. "No one gets left behind on my land." Inside the warm, firelit cabin, she sat at his table while he cooked stew. She watched him closely, and every time their eyes met, something tugged between them stronger than chance, deeper than ordinary. "Why were you traveling alone?" Liam asked. Ella hesitated. "I was going to Willow Creek to stay with my aunt, but bandits stopped the stagecoach. They didn't hurt anyone, but they took my trunk. Everything I had." Liam's jaw tightened. "They won't get far. Folks like that don't last around here." She nodded, but the sadness in her eyes twisted something in him. He wanted to protect her, to fix everything, to keep those eyes bright forever. That night, she slept in the spare room, and Liam sat awake, staring into the dying fire, a king of the girl with the soft voice and brave heart. He had lived 32 years without feeling anything close to this. But now she was in his cabin, and the thought of her leaving made his chest ache. The next morning, she helped him feed the horses. Her laughter drifted across the corral like music. A horse nudged her shoulder, and she giggled, stroking its neck with a tenderness that surprised him. "You're good with them," Liam said, leaning against the fence. Ella blushed. "I grew up around horses. They understand more than folks think." "You're right about that?" He watched her gentle hands, the way sunlight caught in her hair end. Something inside him whispered, "She belongs here." For 2 days, she stayed while they waited for news from town. They cooked together, walked through the fields, talked by lantern light until neither wanted the night to end. She told him about her mother who'd passed away, about the loneliness she carried, about dreaming of a place to belong. Liam listened like every word she spoke mattered, because to him, they did. On the 3rd day, the sheriff rode up with news. Her trunk had been found. The bandits caught. Ella should return to Willow Creek. Liam's stomach nodded. Ella looked at him with a heartbreak that mirrored his own. That evening, they sat on the porch, watching the sky turn star-filled and quiet. "You've been so kind to me," she whispered. "I never expected to feel safe again." Liam swallowed hard. "You deserve safe, more than anyone." She turned her face toward him, her eyes glowing like embers. Liam, I don't want to leave. His breath caught. Ella, these days here, I've never felt like this before. Her voice trembled as much as his heart. With you, I feel seen. Like I'm home. Liam reached for her hand slowly, afraid she'd pull away. She didn't. She held on, warm, certain. Ella, he said, voice rough, from the moment I saw you standing by that broken stagecoach, I haven't been able to think of anything else. Your eyes, they caught me, like they knew me. Her breath hitched. I felt it too. He leaned closer, not rushing her, not assuming, just waiting. And when she closed the distance, laying her forehead softly against his shoulder, grabbed it, he wrapped his arms around her like he'd been waiting to do it his whole life. The next morning, he saddled 2 horses. Come with me, he said. She climbed up behind him and held on. He rode to the ridge, overlooking the valley, his favorite place, but no one had ever shared it before. Ella, he said, turning to her as wind swept around him. I know we've only had a few days, but I also know I don't want a life without you in it. Her eyes filled, shimmering like the dawn. Liam, I don't want to rush you. I don't want to scare you, but you need to know. I love you. I've never loved anyone the way I love you. Ella's voice broke as she whispered, You captured my heart the moment you looked at me. When she kissed him, it felt like the world stilled the sky, the wind, even time itself. Weeks passed. She stayed. What was supposed to be a visit to her aunt turned into letters explaining everything. Ella found work in town and spent evenings at the ranch. She learned the rhythm of his land, the quiet strength of his life. Liam found himself smiling more, breathing easier, finally understanding what it meant to have someone who felt like a part of his soul. One evening, during a golden sunset, Liam led her to the barn. Lanterns glowed softly, and hay scented the warm air. Ella looked at him curiously. What's all this? Something I should have done the moment I saw you, he said. He reached into his pocket and held out a simple silver ring. Her hand flew to her mouth. Liam, Ella Whitmore, you came into my life like a miracle I didn't know how to ask for. When I look at you, I see my entire future. My home, my heart, my forever. Will you marry me? Tears slipped down her cheeks. Yes, 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 yes. He lifted her into his arms as she laughed, her tears falling onto his shirt, warm and real. Their lips met, and he felt it against that pull, that truth that her eyes had captured his soul from the first moment. They married under an open sky, with mountains standing witness, and wildflowers blowing in the breeze. Life wasn't perfect. Ranching was hard. Storms came. Winters tested them. But every morning he woke with her in his arms, felt like a promise fulfilled. And every time Ella looked at him with those luminous eyes, Liam knew deep and unshakable that she had been destined for him. His forever love, his heart's home, his miracle in the dust. Her eyes had captured his soul, and they never let go.